So this is our setup area for 39 through 42. They got the cutouts for the posts roughly a foot or two past the power lines. And then we have a 24-foot shoulder here for the crane setup. So ideally we want to push the crane far enough off the edge of the road to maximize the distance off the power lines. But got to get confirmation on what the plan is here for when we have the post coming in this close to the power lines. 1, 2, 3, 4 before the bridge, starting at 39. So what we have here is 51, and then the next one to the corner right there. This lane opening is 22 foot. We lose 2 foot from the previous setup. So we're gonna go 22 foot here, and then 22 foot to the one at the corner as well, and then see what the other brings. But this is 51. Power lines again right next to it, but they say these will be de-energized. Currently looking at 52 up from 51. We kind of get narrow right here, and there's a turn. We're going to utilize this open space right here, pick over these power lines to set this one with a little bit of an offset. So this radius will be increased slightly from the other ones we looked at previously, but shouldn't make much of a difference. Radius probably is 10, 20, 30, 35, 40 foot. Looking at 54 and 55, got a 21 foot clearance from edge of grass to the hash line, taking over and past the power lines for these two as well. So 56 is the start of the guardrails now, and the road opening from edge of here to the edge of the road is 20 foot. It's getting a little bit more narrow. Also still for this one, 56, we're picking over the power lines. I want to get a guardrail height. Maybe we can put outriggers over it. Guardrail height is 31 inches to get up and over that if we want to straddle the guardrails. 57, a similar setup, 20 foot clearance between the guardrail and the next roadway, taking past the lines. Same thing with the next one. Looks like 58 right here. A little bit further past. Maybe the road opens up a little bit right here, but not much of a difference from the previous two. Uh, 59 here. Looks like on the other side of the power lines again, and the roadway is 21 foot. Though we have a little bit more playroom here with the past the guardrails. So we can widen the outriggers here, but they're right under the power lines. Looking at 60, it looks like it's on the other side of the power lines. Again, 21 foot clearance here from the roadway to the thing, with the outriggers being able to get over. We're past the guardrail, but this one is a little bit higher up. So when you do your heights for the other one, if you're calling that 25, call this 30 foot for your max height that you have to get over. It sits up off the ground about 4 or 5 foot. Keep this one in mind for your clearances for up and over the power line. So we're looking at 63. This is at the intersection of 202 and River Ave. The post is going to be on this side of the power lines, so we're going to avoid setting up on the street here. They already have a driller here that we're going to utilize this setup area. When we're in this area, we're going to pick the post. Most likely, when we're in this area, we're going to pick the post from the roadway, drop it in the grass, move the crane forward so we don't increase the radius, and then set it in position after we pull the crane up, after we offload it. But access is not ideal, but is good because they have these mats here on site. So we'll utilize these to get this one done. Oh, also higher voltage here, so needs to be a topic of conversation as far as with the safety department. Everyone's on the same page with what we're setting. Looking at 65 here, 7,000 volts at the top, plus we got a little bit more height restrictions when picking up and over. Most likely have to set it from this direction because we got power lines cutting over directly to 65. The distance in is good. We're not right up against these lines, right? So the further distance in, so an actually further radius for this one. I'm not going to take the measurements of the roadway here, but let's just assume we got 21 foot because we don't have the closure here. So 65 is 21 foot, higher power lines at 7,000 kV. The heavier and taller post being roughly 10 feet in from the curb. So down this way, we're going to do a drive-by, but looking at 67, similar to the height of this one. Probably 21 foot clearance from the guardrail to the guardrail on this one to the center lane. Also have to keep in mind for the 67 setup that we're going to need cribbing. That road is inclined right in front of that setup area. Power lines look like they drop down a little bit lower down here, so if we can get up and over these power lines and the power lines down there, we should be able to get up and over. But got the guardrail obstructions and incline, and yeah.
Go clear to Ryan, and I need the pictures. He's got a lot of pictures, but he might be missing a few. So
Okay.
but I'm gonna get that documentation just so we have it.
So like I said down there, same 167's past the light pole. About 21 foot, we got a guardrail here going up over the higher lines. But if we can get over the lines from the previous post, then the height here wouldn't be an issue.